Alright, back to margins of error. So in the last video we looked at some examples of margins of error, whether it is amount of drinks or the volume of chips in a bag, potato chips, or if it are the dimensions of houses in a housing scheme. You cannot realistically expect that the measurement is going to be perfectly accurate, and all the drinks, all the bottles of drinks, all the bags of potato chips will have the exact measurement that is written on it, or all the houses in a housing scheme will have the exact measurement, perfect measurement down to the micrometer, that they will all have this dimension, perfect dimension. That's not realistic. So you're going to have some variation in measurement. And the amount that you tolerate, whether higher or lower, is called the margin of error. Alright? Now, let's do a little calculation here. Now, suppose in this case you have 100-gram bags of potato chips, but you're not allowed by the Consumer Protection Agency to sell bags that are weighing less than 5 grams off. In that case, what would be the minimum weight of each bag? No less than 5 grams off. Of course, the minimum weight of each bag would be 100 minus 5, which is 95 grams. So no bag should be less than 95 grams. Alright? Now, the thing is, in reality, you might have various sizes of bags. You have 50 grams, 100 gram, 150 gram, and so on and so forth. Now, in that case, a percentage is used for calculating the margin of error. Now, you might have a case where the weight of each bag must not vary. In other words, the maximum variation must be not less than 5%. The maximum variation from the printed weight must not be less than 5% off. Now, I didn't put 5% on. It's not a matter of plus or minus 5%, because those who are protecting the consumer don't care if you put too much in the bag. At least the consumer would benefit from that. But if you put too much in the bag, the business would be losing some money. They don't care about that. What they care about is if you're shortchanging the customer. So, if each bag must not weigh less than 5% of what the printed bag says, and there's a bag that says, a big bag, 500 grams potato chips. Question is, what is the minimum weight allowed how much off, how much error will be tolerated? What would be the margin? The margin of error is 5%. Minus 5% is 5% off. But the minimum weight allowed, in this case, now you're going to calculate how much smaller the bag will be. The bag is allowed to be. Alright? So, how much can you take off that bag? It's going to be 500 multiplied by 5 over 100. In other words, you can take off as much as 5% off 500 grams. You see that? And then you do your calculation. You have 100 in 100. You have 100 is 500. 5 5 25. So it can be up to 25 grams less. So the minimum is going to be, the minimum weight allowed is going to be 500 minus 25 grams, which is what? That would be 500 minus 20, that would be 480 minus 5 more. It can be as less, as small as 575 grams if the margin of error is 5% off, right? So the smallest, in this case, the smallest allowed actual weight of the package is 475 grams. No less than this will be allowed on the shelves of the supermarkets. Alright? Now, let's look at the situation where you're manufacturing, building houses using prefabricated material. Now, you're saying that, let's say the length of each house, you have the houses here. Alright? You have window, you have the front door, you have the roof for the house, and you're looking at 1,200 centimeters, 12 meters long. The houses are to be 12 meters long. Now, the standards agency says each house must not be more or less than 3% of the dimension, the nominal, the written dimension. Alright? Now, the question is, what is the range of measurement that you can have for a house that is 12,000 centimeters long, but must not be more or less than 3% of those dimensions? So the measurement it has to be 1200 plus or minus 3%. Alright? Let me rewrite that percent sign. 1200 plus or minus 3%. So, in this case, the lowest measurement on the low end, it was 1200 centimeters minus 3% of 1200. You see that? And the highest measurement Instead of lowest and highest, let me use shortest and longest. The shortest measurement, and then you have the longest measurement, must be 1200 centimeters plus 3% off 1200. Because if it is too short, for one, you're kind of robbing the customer of housing space and length. If it is too long, yeah, the customer wouldn't mind. But it would kind of spoil the looks of the scheme. You want all the houses to look exactly the same. Alright? Now, in this case, you're looking at the shortest would be 1200 centimeters minus, what's this now? You cancel down 100 into 1200 is 1236. So 1200, so this would be 1200 minus 36. What is 1200 minus 36? That's 1164. So 1164 cm. 1164. So a house can be as short as 1164, and a house can be as long as 1200 plus, here, if you do the calculation, it would be plus 36. So it can be as much as 1236 centimeters. So the shortest house allowed is 1164 centimeters, and the longest house allowed would be 1236 centimeters. In this case, remember the margin of error, right, would be plus or minus 3%. It can be 3% more or 3% less. Alright, so that's it for this video. See you in the next video.